Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. And we've reached yet another month. That means it's time to do my in-review of last month, what I played and what videos I pushed out in March of 2024. I almost said 2023. It's been a year. And with that, I want to start off with some channel news. I hope I put channel update on the title, if I remember. But I want to address a few things, and probably not a big deal because I'm not a big channel, but I still want to address a few things because I feel like they need to be said. And you may or may not notice, if you're a regular, that this video may or may not even have released on time. And what I mean by that is, generally I have been trying to release a video every Sunday. Kind of made a Gizmo promise in my channel intro about doing that. And I mentioned earlier in the year that that may or may not be the case as the year progresses, just because of the nature of the changes I've gone through in the last year. And that's kind of what I want to address right now. I do want to continue to do the channel, so I'm going to start off with that. I definitely plan to keep filming videos and releasing them. However, I'm not going to keep to a strict schedule because it's just becoming too much for me. The way I film right now, just to let you in a little behind the scenes, is because I'm now working a Monday through Friday normal job compared to when I was shift work. I just find myself with a lot less time. Even though I've got the same amount of free time, it feels like a lot less than when I was working 12-hour days and then I was off, every other week. I only went in, Wednesday and Thursday. And on those weeks, in the old way, I would film either Monday, usually Monday, occasionally on Tuesday. Wake up, kids would go to school, my wife would, run her errands or whatever, and I'd have the house to myself, nice and quiet, and I'd film 2-3 videos at that time on that Monday or Tuesday when I was off. And then I'd be done with that, and then on Friday, I would make sure to edit at least one of those videos. It was usually Friday during the day because, again, I was off Friday, Saturday, Sunday that week. So I could do my editing Friday morning, during breakfast or whatever, while I've got the house to myself generally, or, if it's summertime, it didn't matter. Had all day, really Friday and Saturday, to make sure I got at least something edited for Sunday. And so that's the way it was back at my old job, back in my old position. I could film Monday or Tuesday, and then that was done. And then Friday, usually I would edit at least one video that would be released on Sunday. And then I had a whole nother week and a half to, release a video for the following Sunday, or edit one, And sometimes I would edit both back to back, and boom, I have 2 weeks worth of content right there. But now that I'm working Monday through Friday, I just don't find the time. And so what I've been doing is filming a video or two every Saturday, and then editing a video or two every Saturday. So that way I had one ready for Sunday, and then hopefully I had a week free, because I've still got errands to run, I've still got house things to do, I've still got other hobbies, I've still got family, and the only time I've got free is in the evenings and the weekends now, like a normal human being. And I'm fine with it for the most part. Again, this is a Saturday morning right now because that's what I've been doing. But it's stressing me out. This fun little, side hobby to my hobby has begun to feel a bit like work, because now I go to bed Friday night going, man, I got to wake up in the morning, I got to film, and then we got to run our errands, and then I got to do this and this and this, and then I got to edit at some point, so I got something available for Sunday morning because that's been my release schedule. And I've decided I don't want to stress myself out with that. I do want to keep doing the channel. I don't want to feel pressured to make sure I film and edit on Saturday so I've got something for Sunday constantly, because that's what I've been doing. On top of that, I don't know if you saw the last video I did, getting into the videos I released last month. I only released 3. I filmed to release 4 of them, but the last filming day I had an echo in my video. You probably saw that on my look back at 2019 video. There was quite an echo that I tried my best to edit out, but again, I don't have the time, effort, energy to, go back and refilm something I filmed. In that case, it was, in the morning, and I was editing it at night to get it ready. And I could have went back and refilmed the review I did. I actually had planned on trying to get that done at some point. It just hasn't happened yet, or hadn't happened by last Sunday, and I just skipped that video release. And I will refilm that review and other reviews and get them up at some point. I will get this video up hopefully probably by Sunday at some point, I imagine. These usually aren't hard to edit anyway. The reviews are the ones I spend the most time editing, those in like my top 100, because I just add the graphic overlays and everything. It's a lot more work than most of my videos where I just talk at the camera and then edit out my flubs. So hopefully I can keep doing a lot of that content too. All that to just say, in summary, I guess, is I do want to keep making videos and releasing videos, but I am not going to put constraints on myself to make sure I have something edited for every Sunday. Or most Sundays. It's been a lot more stress than I need. And if I don't stick to, I need to have something released every Sunday, that frees up Sundays for me to film and edit if I'm available, or, if I do one Monday nights. But what I kind of want to do moving forward now is just whenever I've got time to film, I can work at putting together the videos I want to make, getting everything lined up to film 2 or 3 at once. And then whenever I've got the free time, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, some weeknight evening when I'm feeling up to it, whatever the case is, film a couple, 3 videos at once. And then whenever I've got time to get around to editing them, edit them and release them pretty much as they're edited, within a couple of hours, instead of sticking to an every Sunday time frame that I had been doing in the past. So I still hope to release 3 or 4 videos a month. I still plan on doing the what I played last month, the top X amount of new to me games that this video is, and the look back at what I did for the previous month. But it might not be on the first Sunday of the month. It might come out like a Wednesday night or something, because I filmed it, Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and then I edited it, Tuesday nights and released it, whatever the case is. I'm just not going to try to keep myself stressed to sticking to an every Sunday release schedule. So that's it for the channel update. Let's go ahead and get into the bulk of this video, the look back or last month in review, being March of 2024, as I mentioned way a long time ago before I started rambling. In the month, I played 27 total games, 21 different games, so not a lot of repeats. And then, as you probably saw maybe in the title, the top 6 new to me games that I played in the month is going to be the bulk of it. I did release the 3 videos. If you want to check them out, I have the February in review. I did release the 12 games that missed the cut on the top 50 of games of all time that I had done in February. So you can check those out. And then lastly, the crummy, echoey kind of version of look back at 2019, the games I enjoyed, the expansions I enjoyed, and the things I still really want to check out and get my hands on. Enough about that. Let's go ahead and talk about the top 6 new to me games from March 2024. They were all fun games. I really enjoyed these games. I'm going to caveat, some of them I played, I think almost all of them I played solo, so we'll caveat with that. And some of them, or at least one of them, used a not standard, straight from BGG, so I could try it out solo. In fact, I'm going to get into that one right now. My number 6, Near and Far. It's a story-based campaign style game that you should play in a group, but I found someone made a solo version that works pretty well at getting at it. I don't have the expansion that includes the co-op mode, which makes it easier to play it, solo. So I just played the standard game with this solo creation, and I'll try to remember to put a link to it, but don't hold me to that. It's fun. I had a good time. I'm not a story-based game person. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. It's just not my cup of tea. One of my least favorite games from the last few years was Seventh Continent, another story-driven game where you run around and do nothing, and then you die for like 3 hours. Well, you don't die for 3 hours. You do the nothing for 3 hours, and then you die. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Seventh Continent. Near and Far, I did enjoy more because it is more Euro style. The story beats are just there to kind of give a narrative to the gameplay. So from that regard, I did kind of enjoy it, and I am planning on continuing on the actual narrative because I just played kind of the intro scenario, and I do want to play a full character run through using that solo mode. So I am looking forward to getting it back to the table, which I could not say about some of the other story games I've played. So there is that positive, but it still came in number 6 because it's just not exactly my cup of tea, and the other games I played this month were. That takes us to number 5, Nusfjord. It's a game that I borrowed from my buddy. I still have it behind my head right now. And it's a Uwe Rosenberg. I haven't played many Uwe Rosenberg games, and my buddy's a big fan of them, so he's got a lot of them. And I watched, who was it? Why can't I remember their channel name? Maggie and Amy. Man, I can't remember what their channel name is. But they did their top 10 favorite solo games, and Nusfjord showed up on the list. And so I asked my buddy, I was like, hey, you got that? And he said, yeah. So I borrowed it and played it solo, and it's fine. It's fun, not overly complex. You're collecting resources and then spending them on things to add to your tableau, pretty much, and then you're just trying to collect a bunch of points. Not complex, good, fun, simple. I could probably introduce it to my family without too much trouble kind of game, but there is a bunch of thinkiness to it. Solo version plays just fine, but I could see it getting a little samey, although there is a bunch of variety of cards. You got up to 3 different decks even, or mix and match them too. So plenty of variety available, but in the end, I don't know how varied the gameplay gets. It's a combo, worker placement and Uwe Rosenberg style for that worker placement. The solo game basically is you're blocking yourself out of spots with your own workers of 2 different colors. So each turn you're going to play one of the 2 colors while the other color sits on the board as a blocker. So there's a lot of planning and thinking that goes into it. I scored like mid-70s, I think, and the rules said that 70 is a good score for players, and that's surprising because usually I'm not good at games, and so the fact that I beat what the game considers a good score on my first go tells me that either I'm better than I think, or maybe it's just not as engrossing as it could be, or maybe I just messed up some rules. I don't know. I did enjoy it though. Good, fun game, but I had more fun with the next 4. Starting with Last Light, we played that in 4 players. I enjoyed it. 4X space style game that's supposed to play quick, and it played relatively quick for us. Once we got, we all learned it together. It was my first play, their first play. We read the rule book before we started, so that took time. But it's not a big rule book. I think 6 pages or something like that. We got into it. Simultaneous action. You're racing around the board, exploring planets, collecting resources, fighting each other out of, different planet areas, and racing to get 20 light before anybody else does. And I kind of used some combination of card abilities and my alien ability, special ability, kind of helped me zoom past them, but also they kind of forgot that I was just sitting there on planets earning light every time we did a reset too. So a little bit of their fault, but a little bit of I had a good combination of cards and alien that let me kind of jump out, and then they let me stay ahead as they kind of fought with each other on the other side of the board. Fun game. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to playing it again because I do kind of like it. Pretty quick and easy. I like action selection. It's got the Concordia style of you play a card to do the action, and then it sits there till you play the card that lets you recall it into your hand. And so it's got mechanisms I enjoy. I never played a 4X style game before, and space theme, it's all right. I mean, I can take it or leave it. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not huge on theme anyway. It gets me in the door, but it's not a driving force for me. But Last Light, a good fun, simultaneous action, relatively quick playing, space exploration type of game. Number 3, Stonespine Architects is a tableau builder that is a bit of a dungeon crawl / dungeon creation. Kind of hard to explain. It played quick. I played it solo again, as I think everything else on this list, save one more showing up. But yeah, Stonespine Architects just arrived. I played it, and you're basically just trying to collect a tableau of picture events, whether they're traps or goblins and things. You're building up a dungeon that is the most dangerous dungeon, and that comes from either your private goals, how the dungeon, if you get a big start to finish, you don't have to have it connect from the start to the finish. But if it does, it's worth more points. And then there are, you're drafting new goals every round based on, where you kind of give up on the buy section, because you can buy more things to add to your dungeon. and then the things in your dungeon are going to count towards your goal accumulation. I don't know if I explained it right, but it plays pretty quick. You're just building out 4 levels of a dungeon and trying to get the things you need into it based on the goals you've either drafted or had laid out as the common goal for everybody. I really liked it. It's quick, my style of solo game, that I can just kind of do my best to make sure I get what I need and keep the AI. It's not really an opponent. They basically, whatever you don't get goes into a pile for your opponent, and then they're going to score based on what ends up in that pile, and you're going to score based on normal scoring. So I like playing against yourself where it's not a beat your own score type game, and that's exactly what Stonespine Architects solo mode is. So not only am I trying to get what I want, but I also might take something I don't necessarily need just to make sure it doesn't go into the pile of scoring for the fake opponent. Enjoyable, easy, fun. I look forward to playing this with real people too. A good, I think, entry-level-ish game. My number 2 is a 2-player only game, and I played it with my buddy after game night. We had our normal game night, and then most people left, and I said I could stick around for one more if he wanted to. We played a 2-player game, and we pulled out 7 Wonders Duel. I really enjoy 7 Wonders, although I got rid of my copy because I have 7 Wonders Architect, and it's just easier to play that one, introduce it. If I'm going to introduce kind of an introductory game, 7 Wonders, I've got the Architects version. Just it's more family friendly. But 7 Wonders Duel gives me that one-on-one game I really don't normally play because, again, I'm not someone who usually gets 2-player games to the table. I've said that numerous times. It seems that my luck is changing in that regard a little bit because I do have a couple buddies willing to play 2-player games. So it was nice to get this one out and play it, and I really like the back and forth of it because, again, like I mentioned with Stonespine Architects, sometimes you're going to take an action that might not be the best for you just because it would be great for your opponent and you can't let them have it, so you've got to take it. Whether it's just to discard it out of the game for cash, or you're just going to go ahead and put it in your tableau because you are, again, working towards building wonders. You're working towards building your tableau to help you generate resources easier because you could end up with some forests, which means you've got all the wood you might need to build the wonders or the other cards that require woods. Cards are going to build off of each other from phase to phase. So if you take something in phase 1, it might let you build something bigger in phase 2 for free because you've got that stage 1 card already. A lot of the 7 Wonders aspects wrapped up into a really nice, tight, thinky 2-player game. I really liked 7 Wonders Duel and look forward to playing it again in the future. And my number 1 is going to be Lorenzo Il Magnifico. It's just my style of game. It's got resource management, action selection. You've got 4 workers in a round, and you're going to place them on tower to buy cards. And you're going to share a dice pool where you're going to match your worker color with the die, orange, black, and white. And the higher the value of the die, the better that worker is valued, and the better action you can take. But everybody's going to have those same options, so you're fighting over the action slots. You're not really fighting over the dice, but if everybody's using their big 6 die first, maybe you want to use the 1 die, and that way you have the 6 die later in the round, and then there's 1 neutral that's just worth a value of a 0 or 1 right off the start. But you modify any of your dice rolls using workers to help you get a +1 or +2 to any of the die values. That way you can creep up higher and higher on the action track. You're building out your tableau, you're trying to collect resources, and it's just one of those thinky games because you're going to want to do so many things, and either you can't because you're only allowed to put 1 worker on each track or maybe 2. You don't have the money, you don't have the resources, because you're only playing, I think, 6 rounds of 4 worker placements, so 24 turns in the game, and they all matter a lot. At the end of every round, everything's going to reset, and you're going to start over again, do it again and again and again until the end of the game. You're trying to meet objectives. You're trying to get a little bit of set collection in some cases. You're trying to build an engine if you can. That way your actions can trigger off of each other into bigger and better actions as it goes on. Dice drafting, again, I like. Worker placement, I like. Action selection, I like. Tight resource management, I really like, because you just get that real hard think space. So even though I played this solo only, I did really enjoy the thought space, and I can't wait to play this with some of my friends to get that real feeling of the game of, you're taking the actions that I need to take and just getting frustrated with each other, because again, you're all using the same pool of workers and the same dice pool, but it's how you're using those things, because you could all see the same card, but only one person's going to be able to get it. So I really like Lorenzo Il Magnifico. There's a reason why it's on the top 100 games of all time list, and I'm glad to finally have gotten to play it. That's my number one new to me game from 2024 March. And that's the end of the video. I hope to see you again soon. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I don't know when this is going to be posted. I imagine it's going to be posted sometime on Sunday as normal, maybe just not as early in the morning as normal. But the next video, I don't know, but I do promise I will continue to make content as I am able to and as I feel. I don't want to be pressured to feel like I need to, because I'm not making any money from this. In fact, I'm losing money from this with the equipment and the games and things like that, to try to keep things relevant for you. I'm making no money from my channel. I've got no Patreon or anything like that. This is all me just because I enjoy doing it. I want to continue to enjoy doing it, and that's the reason why I stated before, I just don't want it to feel like a chore, because then I'll lose the enjoyment. So I'm taking the pressure off myself to meet a timeline. I hope everybody understands. There's only 309 of you as I film this who have subscribed to me, so it's not like I'm asking a lot from a lot of people. I really appreciate those of you who have stuck around and subscribed, and I promise I will continue to release videos as able as I can, and hopefully of good quality, at least as good as I can get on my meager resources and capabilities. So I look forward to seeing you next time. If you got something out of this video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe below. That way you can catch when the next one comes. Thumbs up this video if you like it, and continue to come back and comment below your thoughts on these games or my ramblings or whatever you want to comment below on. I enjoy the comments. I get so few, I can definitely read and respond to them all. So I do appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend time with me. I will see you next time.